I know some of these people. Alright. What's up?
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. About yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Very good. So,
We're good?
yeah. Oh, we're rolling.
Alright.
All right. Let me get out the our list here.
I'm gonna put this thing down.
All right.
Yeah.
So, let's get this started. So, you mind telling me your name and age?
My name is Jared Dakota Dawson. Currently 22 years old.
And what do you do for the living, JD?
I don't really have a job right now. I guess you could say because I'm an RM, that counts as a job, but I think I'm just a full-time student right now, and trying to carve out a piece for myself in the world, you know.
All right, awesome. So, quick little another random question.
Yeah.
What was your breakfast this morning?
Breakfast, I had grits, potatoes, and a banana, and some coffee.
It's a hearty breakfast. Where'd you get it from?
I got it from Honeycomb, the dining hall here. I've been trying to not eat meat and dairy lately.
How's that been going?
It's going pretty well. I watched a nice little vegan documentary, kind of re-inspired me. But I hope to
continue
throughout my life just avoiding meat and dairy in general, but also trying to get the right nutrient content. So it's tricky. We had a good little vegan bowl for lunch. Had kale and mushrooms.
Yours look good, yeah.
Yeah, they forgot the beans though, so it's kind of unfortunate. But yeah.
All right. So who are some of your friends that you've made in college, and do you hope to keep close with a lot of the people you met here during college?
Yeah. It's crazy because you never know who you're gonna stay friends with, years down the road. But man, I'll definitely say the guys that I met on the 4-5 of Capstone. Great guys. My roommate Matthew Chow, near and dear to my heart. A couple other guys, Liam, Troy, Ben, Mac Chapman. The legend behind the camera right now. Let's see. Another good friend I met is this guy named Francois. We had the honor of studying abroad together, and that was an insane opportunity. But I'm trying to think who else. My fraternity brothers. I joined a fraternity when I was in college, and the guys that I met, some outstanding guys: Cedric, Todd, Uriah, Darius, my line brothers, and I would say I never really had any girl friends before college, but I'm learning now how important it is to have girlfriends. Trying to think who are my close girlfriends. Hannah White, Taylor Brown, Grace Badaki, Nina, Jasmine. It's really hard. That's
a long list of friends and potentially future family that you've mentioned. You mentioned that you studied abroad with Francois. Tell me about your international experiences and walk me through what you learned.
Well, I can't stress enough, studying abroad is one of the most important things I've ever done. And if you're watching this, even if you're not a student, find a way to go abroad, because the world really opens up, you know what I mean? We live in a society that is very ethnocentric, more or less. We place a high importance on what's going on here, but the truth is, America's only been around for a couple hundred years, and there's thousands and thousands and thousands of years of history that we're missing out on when we don't go learn about it, and it actually has a lot of implications for us now. So one of the coolest places I've ever been, might be the coolest place, is Japan. And this shirt's actually from a Japanese company. Shout out to Uniqlo. But Japan is it's this magical, ancient, but also advanced society where they have their flaws. Okay, they're not perfect, but it's just amazing to see how everyone lives so homogeneously. Everyone kind of has this one nation mindset. They're more or less all working toward the same goal. And I really love the culture, you know, the respect that people show strangers. It's like embedded into their culture to show respect to you, even if you're a foreigner. They're, you know, they prioritize service, right? And they prioritize just doing a good job in the work that they do. They prioritize cleanliness. They clean their environment. They, just an amazing, amazing country. And like as a tourist, it felt like I was on this alien planet. You know, nobody looked like me. I didn't really speak the language that well, but we got to explore everywhere. Tokyo is such a fascinating city. You have to go see it for yourself. And Francois and I, we were the only black people, people of color really, on that trip. And so it was really interesting seeing the way that Japanese people reacted to us, and you know, meeting different people throughout the city, college students and stuff. And I actually took a lot of pictures with this exact same camera in Japan, and I found like that's one of the best things you can do when you travel is to capture it while you're there. So Japan, absolute incredible experience. I can't even put it into words. But unfortunately, I was only there for a few weeks, and it wasn't until the next year that I got to go on an extended trip. And I went to Spain. I went to a city called Valencia, or Valencia, as they say it. And it's on the east coast of Spain, a rather large city. And it was a little piece of paradise. I lived a couple blocks from the beach, lived with a host family who didn't speak any English. We got amazing meals 3 times a day. I got to meet so many people from all around the world just hanging out and doing the events with international students. I got to make some really cool friends. 2 more I'll mention. Adam and Kayvon, 2 really cool guys I met when I was in Spain. They're from Boston and Tennessee respectively. And it was just so cool to just hang out with people over there and enjoy the sun, drinking wine and riding our bikes around the city, going to class and just vibing. It was a really, really interesting experience, and it'll be forever in my heart. But unfortunately, you know, COVID kind of canceled that. About 2 months into our 4-month experience, you know, COVID got bad enough that Europe shut down, and haven't been back since. So hopefully things get better soon.
Yeah. So you talked a little bit about your international experience. Once you walk across that stage, where are you gonna want to settle down?
Great question. I don't like to think about settling down because, you know, as a 22-year-old, it seems like some far off thing, but I have to be mindful that it will eventually happen, just statistically. But I've always told myself that I wanted to go and live somewhere, like I want to live in like New York or California, but I'm a public health major, and I feel like I'm called to actually live in South Carolina. That's what I feel, just because of how bad the some of the health disparities are in our state, and there's just like a really great need for people who want to try to address that. So I think I might actually settle down in South Carolina. I don't know where, but I'm speaking this into existence. I would love to have a lot of land and maybe like a farm with animals, but not to eat, but animals to care for, and horses and lots of plants and vegetables that you can grow and eat living off the land, and maybe like a river or something that I can like make my own estate, and you go to all these cool places. They have such amazing cultures, but I want to bring culture to South Carolina. I want to bring in this architect to help me make this certain design, or design the land to look like a landscape in another country, something like that. So all of that to say, I think I might bounce around a little bit, but eventually probably going to land in South Carolina.
Yeah, awesome. And you say you're public health. So what's the career goal for you?
Yeah, so I want to be a physician, but and I'll stand here just for this part. I want to be a physician. And I want to change what it means to be a physician. And what I mean by that is that I want to spend my whole career in the world of food, right? And a lot of people don't, recognize it, but food is medicine, and it's what God has given us, right, to heal ourselves. I think eventually people should actually be their own doctors. But the way that happens is if they have the knowledge to heal themselves and to prevent disease. So I want to be a doctor who sees lots of patients and gets to know them and cares for them. But I also want to help them get the resources they need to heal themselves. And so that might mean helping them, develop a garden so they can grow their own food. It might mean helping them understand about the certain lifestyle to live, like activities to do outside, exercise. It might mean helping to build a social support network in our community so that even the youngest children has people that they can connect with and rely on. I really just want to develop public health infrastructure, and I think food is a big part of that.
Okay, awesome. So you said that in the future people will most likely, or you're going to want to be their own doctors. What do you think the future is going to be like? Future societies.
I guess it depends on how far you're talking. In my lifetime, I don't know if I'll get to see this vision, but I'm of the belief that society needs to be restructured. So you can look at like different trends on Earth. One trend that we've been seeing lately is urbanization, right? So since the Industrial Revolution, we've seen a migration of people from rural areas into urban areas. And while at first it seemed like it was really productive and beneficial, all it really did was just kind of like oversaturate these major cities, causing a ton of pollution, causing a ton of waste, and actually the quality of life is not actually better. Some people can go to cities and have a better quality of life, but as a result, a lot of people actually have worse quality of life. So at some point in time in the future, I would like to see a reversal of this urbanization. I would like to see people actually return to living in smaller communities and actually agrarian societies where people don't need necessarily to have to go to 100 different stores to get what they need. They can actually produce it themselves. And I think that we have the technology actually to live sustainably. We're far beyond the point of how we're living. We're too far gone in terms of like the way we use resources. So in the future, I love to see smaller agrarian societies where people actually get to know the members of their community. We can form close social circles. We can like live well. We can do all the things that we love, like exercise and art and learning and language and nature. Like all those things can exist, but without a lot of the consequences of urbanization.
Interesting take. I've thought about the future before, but never in a way like that. I like that. So, whenever you graduate and you're starting to work, are you interested in like being famous? Is that a goal for you?
There's a part of me that has always felt like I was gonna be famous one day. Probably like 100% my ego just saying that, and maybe that's it. But there's a part of me that thinks that I'll be famous. I don't really know what that means, but I hope it's not too pretentious to say that I want to be famous. How I'll be famous? No, that's up in the air. I don't want to be like I don't want to be famous for the wrong reasons. If I do become famous, I hope it's because I was able to like actualize some ideas that are important and they can actually make life better for people. Whether it's things like this interview, creating a virtual format for people to like have to be able to like capture their thoughts, or if it's something in the world of medicine and public health, or maybe I become a famous musician, because right now I've been trying to work on a little bit of rapping, guitar, making beats. So maybe it'll be that. But I hope it's something good.
All right. So with regards to that, who sort of inspires you, whether it be through music or through a role model or someone in the academic community? What inspires you?
Yeah, good question. You want to keep walking?
Yeah, let's walk.
Yeah. Who inspires me? I mean, the first two names that come to mind are Kanye West, which obviously is a controversial figure, but in my opinion, I feel like people don't really like acknowledge like what he's trying to do. People just kind of see the headlines, but definitely a major inspiration is Kanye. Number two would actually be Anthony Bourdain and the work that he did in No Reservations, Parts Unknown, just like allowing people to see the world through the lens of that show, like through the lens of food and culture and people. like I was saying earlier, like how important it is to travel. Like he was such a big inspiration for that, and made me really want to travel. But man, like besides those two people, I'm just inspired by like artists. Like I'm not comfortable to call myself an artist yet. I mean, maybe I am, but to me, I feel like you know, God was the first artist, right? Mm-hmm. God like created this, and people on earth who are trying to like make art, you know, maybe they have a painting, maybe they're making music, maybe they're doing photography, maybe they're writing. They're like doing their best to capture what was the original art, which is life itself, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe not even life, but like existence is the original art, right? So all of these artists are doing their best to like capture that. And so to me, it's just so commendable for someone who goes out to do that. And it doesn't even have to be like groundbreaking art, but just the idea of it, like being so brave enough to try to capture, to imitate God. And people say that, you know, art imitates life, but I actually think that life is the art, you know. So, yeah.
I like that. I like that answer. So, you mentioned in that response a little bit about traveling.
Yeah.
Do you have plans to go anywhere soon?
Yeah.
You know, after this pandemic's over?
Yeah, I would say like most immediately, I have some plans lined up to go to Cape Town, South Africa. Mm-hmm. And I would be in theory going there in like January, like May 2021 as we're making this. But is that Naomi? What's up? Yeah, plans to go to South Africa, and I would be going there for like a year and a half, starting in January, getting my master's in public health, and working in clinics, sightseeing, looking at nature, really trying to understand like what Africa is. I mean, obviously, going to one city or one country is not enough. Like you need multiple lifetimes to even attempt to understand it. But I'm hoping to get a glimpse of like the original creation, if that makes any sense. And yeah, so Cape Town in the near future. But there's so many places that I want to see. Like I can't even begin. Like outside of Africa, like I mean Africa itself. Like so, I want to see Africa. Like for one, two, like the Middle East, man. Like you know, my mom was born in India, and so I feel like I need to go back to that part of the world to just like see it for myself. Like I don't speak the language, so maybe I should learn that. But you know, even in the Middle East, like places like Oman and Jordan and like Lebanon and Israel. You know, a lot of Europe I wasn't able to see when I was there. I've only ever been to Spain, Portugal, Italy, France. Spain, Portugal, Italy, France. I think that's it. But I mean, I want to see the rest of Europe and like see all those old cities and how they live. And I mean, when you go to Paris, I'm gonna visit you.
Oh, you're absolutely coming.
Yeah, I want to go to South America. I want to see Brazil. I want to see Colombia. I want to go to Argentina. I want to go to Chile. All of it. I'm trying to think where else. I mean, in Asia, like obviously I'm going to go back to Japan at some point.
Of course.
You know, within Asia, there's so many cool places like Singapore and China and Hong Kong and I don't know, Turkey and yeah. I want to go full Anthony Bourdain. Like maybe it's not in my career at least, but I would like to find a way to see all of it, like see all of God's creation and at least attempt to. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a whole lot of places there. Is there any special person you want to take with you? Any like requirements or not requirements, but any qualities you're looking for in your future partner?
Yeah. Well, like a love of travel.
Obviously.
It's a deal breaker, but more so just like the mindset of someone who like. The mindset of an artist in the sense, like I was saying earlier, if you're an artist, you can appreciate art. And if God's the original artist, then, this person would have to be able to appreciate God's creation. So that doesn't just mean like going to different countries, right? But maybe it's the food, maybe it's the the culture, maybe it's art, right?
Yeah.
In those countries. So I think I want someone who's, you know, has an artist mindset, kind of like some good left brain, right brain action going, where they understand like science, like they have a passion for science, but maybe also art. I'm trying to think of other qualities. Like I found that like, you know, having a type or like just wanting a specific type of person is like a recipe for disaster, because you might miss out on a really great thing because you're walking through life with expectations. And so, in all honesty, I want to be with whoever God wants me to be with, and I just hope that I can see that, but I can see what God is trying to bless me with, and instead of walking around like looking for something else. So no matter what I say, like, it's really not about what they look like or like where they're from. You know, I hope they can appreciate me for who I am, and like I hope I like this person because, not because they're like super cool and they have all these cool like external things, but like the person they are on the inside is who I want them to be. So at this point, you know, you take what you can get. So.
Yeah. Awesome. So got just one or two more questions, just to get your personality captured in this moment here. Tell me, you told me about your inspiration, you know, the people who inspire you. What you know, but beyond that, who do you like just enjoy listening to music wise, or what artists do you enjoy, you know, the works of?
Yeah. Lately I've been finding myself listening to mainly like black male artists. I think because a lot of the subject matter and themes I relate to personally. So like one guy I've been listening to a lot lately, his name is Gene Dawson. It's funny, he had the same last name as me. But really dope artist, and he's like, he blends a lot of genres, really interesting subject matter and everything. A lot of Dominique Fike, really cool style. He's been like a big inspiration for me, like trying to learn guitar. Frank Ocean is just, he's goated. Like he's so precise with everything he does, and there's so many layers to what he does. Like as an artist, that's one of the biggest challenges, because you don't want to be so specific with what you're exactly trying to say that it breaks the high and people like listen too deeply, but you also want to have something that people can like nod their head to. And he finds that balance where if you listen to it on the surface level, it bops, but then you look up the lyrics and then you're like, wow, you know. So he's a big inspiration. Yeah, honestly, those three are probably, they've earned my respect without a doubt. Brockhampton dropped an album today, and I really liked them a lot in the past. I haven't gotten into like their recent stuff, but hopefully it's a little bit better. But of course, like Kanye, like right now he's going through some like different, phases, and his journey like to get back to Christianity has inspired me a lot. I think it's helped my relationship with God, which has been like throughout all of college, has been really interesting. Like I remember going to church pretty much every week all the way through high school, and then in my freshman year of college, I essentially like turned my back on God, and I just decided that I was gonna do whatever I wanted to do, and I started smoking a lot of marijuana. Haven't really stopped that. I started doing a lot of things that I just shouldn't have been doing, because I felt like I could, just because like it feels good, like JD can do it, so he did it. But a really close friend of mine, my fraternity brother Uriah, was one of the people who kind of helped me understand, like, I have to align myself with God's will, because that's really what's best for you. And it's so hard to realize that in the moment, but the path that God has us on is the absolute best one for us. And the more we try to deviate from that, the more suffering it will cause us, even though it might feel good. So, I found my way back to God not too long later, like during my second year here, and it's still a work in progress, but now I'm learning to like listen to Him, especially now that I'm making some really big career decisions, deciding what med school to go to, or like where do I want to go, whatnot. So listening to God has been a very important theme of my life. I missed the question. I don't know if I
Yeah, we were talking about your favorite artists, but that's, you know, you said God is an artist, so that's it boils down back to the same type of thing.
And like I pray that all these things that I want for myself, you know, I know that what God wants for me is greater than that, but
it's internal temperature high. Okay.
Push us off again, then we can start over.
All right. Well, yeah. What was the question I asked you? Or you're talking about Kanye, artist, God's an artist.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess one sort of last question I want to ask you. What's this pandemic been like?
Yeah. The pandemic has been interesting.
But in general, campus is a little quieter.
Can you pan to see the story? Like,
COVID and things like that.
But yeah, it's pandemics are like pre-historical events, and it's not the first one. It definitely isn't the worst one either.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been really cool. Like, as bad as that sounds, it's been really, really cool to live through it. In the sense that, yes, a lot of inconveniences. I had to come home from Spain, which sucked, but is a cultural reset. Like, our generation hasn't had one of these, and I think of humanity as like a story, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a really interesting chapter. We had
definitely.
We had a lot of really bad things going on before. Still bad things happening, but like, it's a change. And I think like that in and of itself is good. It's like a brushstroke from God. And so I have so much appreciated the pandemic because it's allowed me to be more self-reflective. It's allowed me to think critically. It's allowed me to really dig in, like, to life. And like, it's just a challenge, that we've all learned to get through. I think it's made us as a whole, as a society, it's made us a little bit more empathetic to others, because as individualistic as the West is, this is the first time that we're having like a shared experience, and that in and of itself.
Cut out again.
It's okay. We can stop.
So, is there anything you wanted to, let your mom and dad know, and maybe also your brothers?
Yes. I love you all dearly, and you all make life worth living. Hope you all can stick around as long as you can, and yeah, I love you all, and I'll always be here for y'all.
All right. Those are some good answers you gave us today. Thank you for your time, JD.
Absolutely.